Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode we'll be taking a look at the Voyo V2 little computer. It's amazing, computers these days. 10 years ago if you told me a computer would be this small, I would not believe you. It's amazing. It's about the size of an external small hard drive. Here's the Dell Inspiron 3050 that I reviewed last week. Look at that. Look at that. Very, very small. Just to give you one more frame of reference, here's a quarter. So very, very small. Let me hold it back here because it looks big when it's that close. Very, very small. GearBest sent me this for review. Thank you very much. And the average price, because it depends on the model that you pick, but the average price is about $110. There are several models. If you want to take a look at them, go ahead and hit the link that I put in the description box below, and then you'll be able to select different models. Of course, you have ones with the plugs for the for Europe. You have the US plug, things like that. But then there's also a model that has a smaller battery, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, but they include a solid state drive of 64 gigs. So you get the 32 that's built in plus another drive that's 64 inside it. This version just has the 32 gigabytes of RAM that's in there, but they give you an 8,000 milliamp hour battery. Kind of strange that you would put a battery in a desktop computer. Kind of a niche kind of thing if you ask me, but you could look at it like it's a built-in UPS, a built-in uninterruptible power supply, so it takes a power hit. So if you were like thinking about using this to act as a little server, a little low-power server, it can do that, and then you don't have to worry about it crashing if you lose power, and you could have it do a controlled shutdown. Things like that you might want to consider when looking at something like this. So let's go ahead and run down the specs really quick, and then we'll proceed to the unboxing that I did a couple of days ago. This came with an activated version of Windows 10 Home 32-bit, and I stress the word activated because there were a lot of computers out there in the market that come from China. One example is this MeeGo pad that I never reviewed because of issues a while back, and it came with Windows on it, but the detail that they failed to let me know was it wasn't activated, and I don't like when companies do that. This is activated, no problem there. The CPU for this is the Baytrail Z3735F quad-core processor. And what's neat about that processor is it only uses 2 watts. And this whole unit, when it's powered and running, is only going to use about 10 watts. And then when it's sitting plugged in, just charging the battery up, it's trickling at about 0.2 watts. So barely anything. Really neat, low power kind of unit. Great for, you know, letting run and maybe do a small server type task. Has 2 gigs of RAM. Has a 32 gig hard drive, and it is a eMMC. It's a rather slow one, so excuse me, the performance is not great on this guy, to be perfectly honest with you. Video in the processor, it's built in. It's the integrated Intel HD graphics, and that's accessible, or it's outputted through an HDMI port right there. You have the battery, and this one is the 8,000 milliamp hour battery. So this unit I'm reviewing right here is about $110. The other one with the additional hard drive, but with the smaller battery, costs a little bit more. Let me see. I want to make sure I hit all the notes here. You have Wi-Fi built in. It has 802.11b, G, and N, but it's only 2.4 gigahertz, or that's all I'm seeing. It has Bluetooth 4 built in. You also have a bunch of interfaces here. You have HDMI, RJ45, Ethernet. It's not gigabit, it's fast, so it's 100. You have a micro USB port right there also. I say what there a lot, don't I? You have a regular single USB 2 port, no USB 3 on this guy. And there's 2 holes right there. One is for power, the other one, this one right here is a 3.5 millimeter jack for headphones or mic or whatever. When you plug it in, it'll prompt you what you want to use it for, and you sort of go from there. So that's really the whole thing in a nutshell. The only other thing you have here is the power button right here. Kind of weird. You hit the button, it does nothing. You got to hit it and hold it for 4 seconds, and then it'll light up and go. So there's 2 reasons why I asked GearBest to review this particular item. Well, for one thing, a lot of these small, inexpensive computers are plasticky, and this one actually is kind of neat because it's metal on the bottom and all around the sides, and then it has glass on the top. Pretty cool. It feels sort of Apple-ish. It's it feels well built. The other reason is there's a lot of reviews out there on the forums that don't look very good for this guy. And what it comes down to is it looked like there was a bad batch that went out where if the battery goes down, discharges, it dies because of, it had a, I guess they ship with a bad battery. And then what happens is the computer seems to be looking, or the BIOS seems to be looking for a certain voltage before it will turn on. And if it doesn't see it, it's just going to, light's going to blink when you press it and it won't start. So a lot of people complaining that these things are dead or on arrival. So I wanted to see if I got one, now that a little bit of time went by, if that was the case. Luckily it worked. So maybe they got the battery issue solved. That's really good. So let's go ahead and go to the unboxing. Looks like we have the computer here. Wow. Has a little weight to it. It does not feel cheap at all. Wow, look at that. Go ahead and take a peek underneath here. This appears to be a power supply right there. And wow, they even give you a HDMI cable. That's a nice touch. A lot of things these days do not come with HDMI cables included. And we have some documentation, a cute little thing there. I think this is the hole cut out like a donut hole. It's a paper hole. So let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in. I'll put in my dongle for my keyboard and mouse. We'll plug in my HDMI and my headphone jack right there, and then we'll go ahead and do power. Looks like it goes right here. And then we'll go ahead and hit that power button. See what happens. Here we go. I don't see anything. Maybe you gotta press and hold it. There we go. Press and hold the button. I should go ahead and turn off the lights so I don't have any kind of, whoops. Let's go ahead and turn out the lights here. There we go. Wow, looks like they already created a user called Voyo, which is the name of the company, obviously. And look at that. It is like ready to go out of the box. Whoosh. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive indeed. Go ahead and back this up just a little bit so you can see. That came up pretty fast. Mouse is working. Let's see if I got my windows here. Everything looks good to go. One thing I'm always concerned about is when you get these machines from sources you've never bought before, you're always worried about if Windows is properly registered. So that's always something that's in the back of my mind. I trust nobody, so I'm not picking on anybody in particular. Just want to make sure we're registered and good to go. And there it is. Connect to the internet to activate Windows. Okay, I went ahead and put this on my network on Wi-Fi. I only saw 2.4 gigahertz, so this is 802.11n, but only 2.4 gigahertz. Doesn't have the 5 gigahertz range, something you should be aware of. But keep in mind, this is a very inexpensive and small unit, so there's only so much you can do in here. And let's go ahead and activate this and make sure it activates fine. And we'll go ahead. Windows is activated. Bang, we're done. We're activated. So, I am so far very impressed. Let me go here, go back, and Windows is activated right down there. Just wanted to show you that. Okay. Next thing I want to do is out of the box run a benchmark. So I use Nova Bench. So I'm going to have to go ahead and download that real quick. So let's go ahead and do that. Excuse me. Do a quick search for Nova Bench. Come on, let's go. Huh. It's giving a certificate error for Bing.com, go figure. Alright, so go ahead and download Nova Bench. Download. Nice and quick, nice and quick. It's 88%. 1 second left. You know what? Let's take a real quick peek at hard drive space before I go any further. Where are we? There we go. Let's open up the file manager and out of the box. Let's see what we have here. I should click on my computer. There we go. So it's showing that I have 22.4 gigs of free space and that the drive is 28.6 gigs minus the couple of megabytes that the file that I just downloaded has. Alright, so we're done here. Let's go ahead and run the benchmark. Do a quick install. By the way, audio works. And it says it requires .NET, so we're going to have to install .NET. Alright, down here it says .NET fx.exe, which you can't see because I'm still zoomed in. So we're downloading that. Go ahead and run. Audio works. Alright, the install's hiding down here, and alright, I had to install .NET 3.5 and all this good stuff. So let me get done installing all of this, and then we'll go ahead and run the benchmark for real. Go ahead and go to Google. Enter. Click it. What does this say? Verify the website, integrity, blah blah. Yes. Alright. So let's see if Google comes out without... Oh, still doing a certificate thing. This is kind of odd behavior that it's acting like it's in protected mode. Kind of strange that I'm getting certificate errors for every website that I go to. Like, let's go ahead and try YouTube and see if I could go there. www.youtube.com. Enter. And it's also asking for a certificate. You gotta hit not recommended. I mean, this is acting like it's a lockdown machine or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and monkey around with this, figure out what's going on. So you can see I ran into a little problem there with the browser always asking for a certificate problem, and that is typical when you set the security settings too high. Now I didn't feel like going in there and messing with it, so I just reloaded the OS. I took the lazy person's way out, but everything is now acting normally, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it on the computer screen up there in a moment. Now, as far as upgradability, you know, we had the Dell 3050 last week, and it's very upgradable. This guy, however, is not. When you start getting this small, typically it's not a good idea to try to monkey around with it unless you're an expert. But if you do decide to open it, there's like 2 screws right here. But then don't try to pull this stuff out because you will definitely break this glass. It's very thin. There's an antenna sort of on here that will break when the glass breaks, and the reason why is it's hard to get out because there's 2 clips in here also holding things, so you have to get with a spatula, sort of get down in the sides and sort of release those clips and carefully take it out, It is very difficult. I'm going to go ahead, and if you're interested in what it looks like inside here, I'm going to give you a link, and it's to a teardown of this guy on www.cnx-software.com, and you can sort of see what it looks like inside, because it is pretty cool, and you can see where they add that extra hard drive and why they had to put a smaller battery in to make room for that drive, so it sort of all makes sense. Again, keep in mind you only have one USB port, so it's best to get a dongle that can do both a keyboard and mouse, or a combination trackpad keyboard, or Bluetooth, of course. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the power, HDMI cable, right there. Go ahead and turn the power for the monitor on. And again, you got to hold this button down for about 4 seconds. You can see it's lit right there. I said what there again. You should take a drink every time I say what there. Or there. Alright, so it does boot up pretty fast. That's typical of any kind of solid state kind of unit. And we're already on my network, which is good. So we'll go ahead and bring up Google Chrome. I went ahead and installed Google Chrome on here. And we're going to go to YouTube, because I want to see how good this thing streams video, because some people might think this is a good TV box. As a matter of fact, it's sort of in the title on the link at GearBest as a TV box. So some of you might want to put, software on there, Netflix, and watch YouTube, and do all those TV box things. In the queue here on YouTube, I got a video that I did where I was testing out my Sega 762 after I did a conversion on it. We'll go ahead and go full screen, and I'll hit play, and we'll see how that does. Okay, I'll hit play for real that time. Okay, so you can see it does quite well. I'll go ahead and reduce this back down to size. So it definitely, no problems with stuttering or skipping or anything like that. It is running smooth. The audio is synced with everything. So it definitely can be a video streamer or TV box with no issue. So here's one of the system screens. And the other really cool thing is right now it's plugged into power. I'm going to go ahead and pull the power plug out of this unit. So let's say whoops, I don't know what happened there. Now, like I said, this thing has a battery inside it, which I think is pretty cool, sort of like a built-in UPS, but also could be the cause of some of the issues of some of these guys having bad batteries. But you can see there that it is charging. I'm going to go ahead and pull the power off this guy right here. And you can see now it's on battery use right there. And it could probably go a long time. I let it go down 10%, and it was like 45 minutes, just sitting there idle. So it's definitely good for uses such as a server, or if you're in a place where you have unreliable power, and also if you want to have something that's just low power in general. I just think it's pretty cool. Now, another good use of this is for PowerPoint presentations and things like that. Now, this didn't come with Office. However, it did have pre-installed a free version of Office called Word, Excel, and PowerPoint Mobile. So, and you could basically do some presentations using that without any issues. So I could go ahead and like select a little guy here, and you can make your PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to do something really quick and stupid, but like we'll just do hello, and I'll go here, and we'll say test. Make ourselves a quick PowerPoint slide right there. And again, this is the free mobile stuff, and then I could go ahead and make believe we're doing a presentation. You can see how that looks. So pretty cool. You could definitely use it for presentations on the go for somebody who is a mobile salesperson or something and has to, walk into a room, and they could plug this into a TV in a conference room, and bang, you have a nice little machine that's easy to carry around with battery backup that you could quickly do a PowerPoint presentation from. Now I went ahead and installed Nova Bench, which is a free benchmark kind of program. I'm not going to pay for one. I don't do enough computer videos to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and run a benchmark really quick just to see how it's in relation to other machines. Like I did the Dell Inspiron 3050 last week, and that was around 317 if memory serves me right. So this should end up about the same, maybe a hair slower, because the hard drive built in there is just the eMMC card that's in there, that's the hard drive, is kind of a slow setup. So that's probably the choke point for this particular machine, and every machine has a choke point. So we'll just go ahead and let this proceed. It's doing a RAM transfer test right now. Actually, you can't see it because you're zoomed in so far, but we'll go ahead and zoom out there. Now it's doing the graphic test with the built-in integrated HD Intel graphics, and that's built into that Baytrail processor. Again, very low power efficient processor that utilizes a hair over 2 watts. So we're looking at in this benchmark here 322. Again, this is like mid to low end dual core 2 processor kind of power. So this is not a powerhouse. It's not a gaming machine. I mean, you could do slow, just slow type of games and everything, but the stuff that requires the high frame rates and things like that, this is not the machine. This is just a good mobile presentation machine, a good watching videos on your TV streaming box kind of thing, and you got that battery in there. Again, that's a little nichey, but it could be useful for somebody, and again, that's nice if you're going to use it for like a little FTP server, or maybe a music server for your house or something like that, where you don't want to use a lot of power, but you just need a little box, low power, that could just serve up a simple server function. This would be a pretty good kind of solution, if you ask me. Alright, let's talk about cons really quick. I had touched this and it cut off, and it's not doing it now. I actually had another incident where this thing just turned off, and I'm not sure if it's just a quirk or not. There's no moving parts or anything to go wrong. So now I did reinstall the OS, so maybe a power saving program or driver or something I put in there might have, I might have self-induced this, so I'm not going to blame it on the manufacturer. But pretty good. I'm very happy with this. Heat wise, it will get a little warm there on the top because you have no active cooling. It's all passive, so it's very quiet because it has no fans. But it definitely doesn't get like fry an egg on the top of this kind of hot or anything like that. It's just warm, just a, you could use it to keep your coffee warm, maybe as a warming plate. I'm just kidding. So do I recommend this? Well, I recommend it, but very carefully. I don't recommend it for someone who is not computer savvy, because as with any computer that's not from a major vendor, like the Dell and Acers and things like that, and when you get these machines from China, from smaller, less known manufacturers, you typically have little quirks. At least every one of the kind of these that I've reviewed before. So you have to work through, like just how you saw how it, when I first unboxed it, the browser was having some issues and I had to get that straightened up. So you're going to have to work through little issues like that, and that's going to be with most of these type of boxes that you'll find from China, from the lesser known brands. And again, this is for the hobbyist, and it's the niche market in my opinion, because this is an outstanding solution for a server, for a simple server that doesn't require a lot of power, and you want to save energy because it's something that's running all the time. And it could be, you could put some sort of music server on there. I'm saying this a lot because it is a niche market. I just want to make it clear that there is a place for machines like this, and it's also good for the mobile office kind of solution, especially someone who's on the road doing presentations and they know they're heading into conference rooms that have a big screen TV or an overhead projector that they could hook this up to and do presentations. And you say, why don't you use a laptop? Because a laptop is this big and this is this big, so kind of neat. And you could just sort of look pretty cool. Just walk in, you pull it out of your pocket, hook it up, unfold your little Bluetooth keyboard, do your presentation, or maybe even use a Bluetooth presenter thing where you just hit the slides and go. So very, very small, compact, nice little unit. I like it, so I recommend it, but recommend it only to the smart folks. Cons, I had that little issue. You saw it once here, and I had it once before where it just blanked out. I don't know if that was my fault or not. So, and there were reviews before, all in the forums that I've seen, because I always research all these guys out, where people were having issues because of the battery. At least they figured out what it was, and it could be resolved if you don't want to go through returning it, which GearBest will take care of you. But you do have to return it back to China. So that's another disadvantage of buying from a overseas company. You could be, if you're over there already and you're watching this review, hey, definitely. But you're just going to have to deal with that. All right. I think I covered everything. I'm enjoying this. I like it, and I recommend it for someone like me. So there's my review. I hope you enjoyed this. The Voyo V2. Oh, I know what it was. So the reviews they had, finally found out it was the battery. Like I said, it dropped down the voltage and it wouldn't charge back up because of a faulty battery, and that keeps from booting up, even though everything else in this unit is fine. In the Teardown website that I provide the link for, they, if you could get this open and do a lot of reading, but if you could get this open and make sure you take care of those two clips after the screw so you don't break anything, you could go ahead and remove that lithium ion 3.7 volt battery and put something else in, which will let the BIOS know there's enough power there to turn on, and then it'll operate fine. So for those of you who may have purchased this and had problems with that, and you're a do-it-yourselfer who just wants to get in there and get it running and fixed, there's the fix. That was the issue that they were having, but I think this one ran fine, so I think they got their problem solved. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really do appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and especially you. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.